So wait a sec. So the trip with Mossy, when Mossy ended up staying.
Yeah.
But you were already born. You were an infant. You were on that trip.
Right. But
Okay.
you left. He was very sick, so
Right.
he had to stay.
Right.
Mary stayed
Right.
with him.
Because they were.
He never got back again to bring Mary home.
Well, because things just got
No,
crazy.
he didn't die until later.
No, he was about 3 years old when he died.
Yeah.
Because
saying
Auntie Josie said that
father didn't die till years later.
Right.
Why she never got back again?
Well, this is the question: how she never got back to?
Maybe scorching of
the turkey.
No.
Oh no, that might be a different
The
one.
man's tux.
The tuxedo or the?
No, I
Josie
heard.
didn't hear that one either.
No, I heard.
Mary
this-
scorched it, and Jerry went and
I
covered
never
it
heard
with
that either.
black shoe polish.
No, I heard about Jerry was in the kitchen and he dropped the turkey. She had to go and pick it up, and Mary screaming at him, and they
Take
kind
it in
of.
and serve it.
Then they ended up cutting it, so she said, "Oh, it'd be easier to cut it out in the kitchen." So they were an odd couple.
There were a lot of Mary and Jerry
Well,
stories.
the story that I wanted to
school
just tell you was the one that the priest said that I should tell. Is I don't know what sequence of time, but Nana was over in Ireland, okay? Uncle Mossy was the youngest one, and he went to school, I think he went to school in Cork City, and he would come home on weekends or spring break, because that was like an hour away from where they were living. They were living in Charlottesville at that time. Anyway, Mama's there, and Mama is a U.S. citizen. That was the first thing she did when she could, at her earliest time. Anyway, all of a sudden you know about the black and tans.
Yeah. I've heard some of the story, but you have it better.
They're coming to the house, to the courtyard, and they're going to shoot Mossy. Mossy was about 16, and he was a runner. Uncle Jim, Uncle Patty, Uncle Tom, all of the brothers were very active. Cork was a very hot spot.
Rebel Cork, sure.
Yeah, it was a very hot spot. And they would meet at different farmhouses. And Mossy was a runner with the papers where they were going to meet, and this and that and everything else. So either somebody squealed or however they knew, but they were going to kill him right on the spot. And Mama came out and she said, "I'm a U.S. citizen. If you do that, the minute I get back to New York, I'm going to go to the New York Times, the New York Tribune, and whatever American, all the papers that you could think of." And they took off. So she really saved his life.
Was the deal that she had to take him out of the country, or
He had to leave.
is that when he left?
No, I don't know. He was only 16.
Well, it's just some of the embellishments that I
They
heard.
get him out of here.
Well,
Whether
I
that's the
don't.
family's deal or the deal with the. Whomever.
I don't know. These are the areas that I'm really sorry that I didn't pursue.
But that makes more sense. I'd heard it with different. We had it with kind of fuzzier details that they were just rounding everybody up.
Get him out of here.
But I mean, as far as the black and tans were just coming to town and rounding everybody up, and she went down and got it.
Well,
But him specifically was arrested because somebody had squealed on him.
Presumably that was it. And
Yeah.
they came to the house.
Yeah,
taken
well,
away.
we heard that, from Mama.
Yeah. But she very seldom told us anything, and I tell you how naive I was. Have you all seen the Michael Collins movie?
No, I read a biography.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Anyway, much to my surprise, I never knew that Ireland had a civil war. And that is, I think, where our uncles went into prison and went on the starvation thing. And I often wonder if that's why they all came to America, to get out.
To get out and away
I
from
don't
it.
know. I mean, but Mama never told me that there was a civil war. All I ever knew was the bad guys with the English black and tan. But what happened is Mama loved De Valera. He had roots in Charlottesville.
Well, he's American.
They have a big plaque in Charlottesville on it because George saw it when he was there. And he's the one, Michael Collins basically had the right idea, but he decided to go with England, thinking it would cut down on all
the death.
right.
Yeah.
De Valera wanted independent Ireland. He didn't. He wanted to break the ties. So that's where the Civil War came up from.
But after Michael Collins died,
No, he was
Didn't-
shot by.
but didn't De Valera end up being
He was the first president.
Yes.
right president?
Oh yeah, he was
Oh,
for
yes,
several
no
years.
question.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for several years.
Yeah.
As a matter of
But
fact,
didn't he make? Who brokered the deal then? Who brokered the deal with that gave the counties to England?
I think I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
'cause I
the
did-
North and the South?
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm trying to. I think
Oh, no,
Collins
he-
was part of it because it was in the 20
That's-
years, 22, I think.
yeah, and
No, it was.
I'm
They
trying
had
to remember.
split long before that.
Well, no, but they
No.
brokered. They officially
Yeah,
brokered
but
the deal
I
and
don't
said
think
you
that
can
we
have the
should
rest of the
have
country
did that,
free.
though.
So it's like
if you-
almost a treaty of
yeah.
sorts.
In other
Was
words,
that-
Because prior to that they had home rule, but it was kind of
Yeah.
farcical. It didn't really.
right.
It wasn't really real.
It's a new book out in the library. I almost picked it up
I guess the
yesterday. 'Cause I
closer
read about it.
part
And the
to
book is this
England,
big.
that was there.
And I knew I wouldn't be able to read it.
Well, it was. I mean, it's orange. It's where they were.
Near the
so-
water.
I've got a
Hello,
little
Ed.
book at
I have a
home.
hard time keeping all of it straight. I've reread it a bunch of times. I can't always.
Well,
remember.
as I said, I never knew there was a Civil War till I saw
Well,
the
actually,
movie.
one of my courses in college was on the history of Ireland. So that's
And actually, Michael Collins was killed in Cork, West Cork,
Has he?
Down on the road?
and they implied that De Valera was behind it, but
Yeah.
that was never.
But De Valera was
He's an
from
English
Charleville.
Everyone say that.
His roots were in Charleville. Yeah, they have a big plaque there, and Mama thought he was wonderful. She thought he was great. Oh,
But
he,
no-
he did bring the country to
He
its
had other problems
independence.
too.
Well, they all did.
Oh
It
yeah,
does,
yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
But
After that.
I thought that. Now again, correct me. It's the things I've heard over the past number of years, and who knows now. I thought that Nana did not. Now I'm surprised to hear that all of her brothers were very involved. I thought that she had very little to do, or very little respect for the IRA.
No,
No.
she just said it was all nonsense. She
Well,
didn't believe that
okay,
orange.
well-
She said that's all nonsense. She didn't believe in any of it.
Yeah.
Right.
She said it was all nonsense. She would tell us that.
Sounds somewhat disrespectful to me.
But actually, Uncle Jack,
He was-
Auntie Molly's, he was a
And he
lieutenant
was
or
in-
a captain.
He was a
Yeah,
big
right.
time.
Because
He's
when
up to his eyes in it.
When he
Right.
died, she got a pension from the
Yeah,
IRA,
from the
Auntie
IRA.
Molly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he died. He was a captain
What?
in the IRA.
Abby, go back. You can't fit through there, sweetheart.
But
Go
it
back.
was. But a lot of what we got was sketchy, you know. But they were, the O'Connors were up to their necks with the revolution.
Well, amusingly enough, Katie's dance teacher, Mrs. Murphy,
Uncle Jack.
is
Band something.
an O'Connor.
It's a what?
She's no O'Keefe. I'm sorry, she's an O'Keefe, and yeah, in fact, her brother's name is John O'Keefe, and he's got a dance school in Connecticut,
Oh,
John O'Keefe School of Irish Dance. So I always laugh,
Isn't that
and I always
funny?
tease her. I said, "Well, we're O'Keefes too." But she talked about going back and going and seeing the trap doors and the things, and but they're all from Cork as well. And she talks about
Is she from Cork?
she's her well, not herself, but her parents. Yeah, her
right.
family's from Cork, and she talks about going back and seeing all this. And
Yeah, they were really involved. And the other
Katie, take
thing,
him for a walk.
the other thing that surprised me
Want to go
was
out and see if there's any ducks or squirrels?
we had
Don't walk in any
a talk
aisles.
with John and Ann recently. You know, when I say recently, I don't know. I've been over there crap times.
Danville.
But the Southern, now I'm talking about the people now in Cork. I said something about what's all the mix-up up in Northern Ireland. Well, to me, if you're living under that, why don't they move to the south? But they're very much, that was our land and we're not going to move.
Yeah,
But the
sure,
people
sure.
in the south don't give a damn about them.
they don't.
Ann and John said, the hell with them.
I mean, they're doing so well.
Yeah. And
they
they
are one of the biggest economies in
And I
Europe.
mentioned something about Dublin, and they said, "Oh, they weren't interested in Dublin at all."
That's really funny.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean,
they're
you
doing
can-
so
Like they're
well.
only interested in their own surroundings.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you figured, whatever state you're in too, you're kind of your state politics, and the rest of the country, all those stupid people in
Yeah.
New Jersey, whatever,
Wait,
But
well, we used to ask Mom something about Ireland. She said, "Do you know all of Connecticut? Everything that's happening here?" No.
yeah, don't you know everybody from Ireland, Mama? Shouldn't you all know each other?
That's how she get you. She said,
She
"No,
used
do
to
you
say
know
it's
all?"
none of your business.
Josie, do you have? Excuse me for interrupting, but you didn't have that picture of the Haggertys? I gave you and Lily one. I meant to bring it. The farm where it looks like the Sound
Yeah,
of Music.
the picture. I have it home.
I don't know.
No, where's
When I
that?
get home.
Will you show her? That's male. That's a little bit about like 4 towns
So
down.
who lived in Mayo?
No, Aunt Julia. We hadn't.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
the Irish Aunt Julia.
Yeah, I know. Your great aunt. Well,
Right.
great
Aunt
aunt.
Julia.
Funny thing, it was
Yeah.
on the
Say.
TV,
But
on the computer. It was one of the screens.
But anyway, Mom and I went
The
to
farm.
visit, and when we went there,
It's a big-
Aunt Julia had already died, but there was their name is
That's the one with the
Haggerty.
hill?
Yeah,
Haggerty?
Jim Haggerty, and he had 2 sons, Jim and no Patrick and Jim, and Jim looked just like Brother Lynch. I said, "Oh my God, you look like you got a cousin that looks just like you in New York." But when we went there, his Jim Haggerty's sister came to live when the mother died. Aunt Julia died. And she said, "Oh my God, if Julia was here, she would have everything. She'd spend her last penny getting something, putting food on the table." I said, "Well, she's got an American counterpart that does exactly the same. Her namesake is just the same."
Julia.
What do you think?
It was
of
so funny. It really
What
was.
she used to put on a feed.
Oh,
well,
jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, this one was.
She was such a good cook.
Oh, well, she could make
Take anything and
Yeah,
make it into a
even
gourmet
George,
dinner.
he said to me, "What did she?"
How
I
could
said,
she make a
just
can
gets
of
it
beans taste so good?
done. I don't know,
She did.
Yeah.
tuna fish or something, and all of
Like
us,
any
there
different.
wasn't
Had
a
an
drop
act for
left.
food and throw anything together.
Yeah,
and it was-
We'd stop with her many times, near the end, and we'd be there for lunch, and
Right.
and all of a sudden she'd put all this stuff together.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
It was.
Well,
But-
who of all the cousins over there did you meet? You met a lot of them. I mean, well, your aunts and uncles. I mean, you met,
Mary Carlisle.
but the aunts and uncles starting
Okay,
the
aunts
siblings.
and
You've
uncles.
met a lot of them.
Okay, let me see if I can tell you one. I went to we stayed at Auntie Josie's house. That was in Charleville. Now I'm going back with Mama, and I met them more then because
Mama
that was
there.
all she wanted to do was see her relatives, and
Right.
I didn't care, so that was
Yeah.
fine.
One for the
We went to Aunt Nora, who lived in Cork City. I don't know what they did say Cork now,
Yeah.
but we used to call it Cork City,
Right.
which was about an hour away from
Beautiful.
Charleville.
The big cathedral and everything was there.
Right. And Uncle Patty.
Uncle Pat.
Right. Now, Uncle Mossy was dead.
But we got to see Uncle Tom.
Yeah, he was in England
He was
when I
a
went there.
Jolly, small, like the father, but very. Katie
Right.
cried because she didn't know we were coming home. She was stabbed. She was his gaffer or something like that he called her.
Right.
And she went every place with her. But when she came home on the plane, she cried about it. She
Oh.
didn't see him again.
Well, we.
But he came and he stayed there with them while we were there.
Oh, that was
Very nice. Very nice man.
I think I'm trying to think. I think that was it because Uncle Jim was dead.
Well, that's the man that looked like Tyrone Power.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
he was here in
he
New
was-
York City.
He
Was
was
he
what you
handsome?
call a black Irish.
Black Irish.
And
Black
Julia
hair, black
looked
eyes.
like him when she was younger,
Yeah.
and because everybody thought she was either Italian.
But he was a very nice person.
Yeah. I just remember him. He bought ducks to me one Easter. I don't know what happened after that.
Yeah.
And then Uncle Mossy, who was the youngest, he was gone also
Right.
when we went.
He went in World War II.
Yeah.
Uncle Massey was in World War II.
I can
And he was on D-Day.
Josie can tell a story about a dance that we
Oh,
went to.
Mama?
Yeah.
What?
But Uncle, go ahead, tell.
Oh, you might have been
You were
me.
there, not me.
With the Irish dances they had in New York City all day. What do you
Yeah.
call them again?
Well, they were the Corkman balls. So Uncle
Yeah, the
Patty,
ball. And everybody
Uncle
was
Jim,
there.
Uncle Jack was the president.
That's
of the
right.
Corkman
Right, Nancy
Yes.
and Molly, we
Association.
were all there.
He
Came
got there a couple of times.
and we had a grand time, very nice time. And Uncle Mossy came up. Is that what you mean when she
Yeah.
slapped him?
Yeah.
He said something wrong, and she cracked him like this.
He was
You're my
drunk.
own brother. You don't talk to me like that. She did. And
Yes,
this
she
fellow
was
was
tough.
in the service and everything else. He still was her little brother.
I thought that
he
was
was at
embarrassing.
D-Day.
In front of
And
all these people.
Kind of what they used to call shell shock wedding. He
Mm.
went crazy after that because he said all the men were there dead and they had to get ready for the next ship's coming. And they had steam shovels digging up all the bodies out of the way just to get the next load of boats in. And it drove him crazy.
Yeah.
He didn't recuperate from that at
No.
all.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah, I remember he came to the house one night with Mama. We
Yeah.
thought it was Timmy.
Yeah, she was
Came
stepping
in,
on
he just
her
cried and cried. I remember him crying. We all upstairs and stayed
Really
awake,
Yeah.
whacked hard.
crying his eyes out. of all.
And he had a sad
He was
death.
upset. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Was it
fell in
Subway?
front of a train. Was
Oh,
killed.
jumps.
But anyway,
They
so
probably did.
basically there was
And they
only
had 4 wives, both
they-
of them. Had 4 wives.
yeah,
Uncle Jim and Uncle Mossy.
there was only three
They married.
there as far as
Must have
immediate
married.
Well,
Now
Auntie
back
Molly
to-
was here.
here,
Oh, yeah,
right?
she was
So I remember Auntie Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Jackie Lynch told me something when we were talking the other day, which I didn't realize. He said she was there in the Troubles, and they stopped her one day, and she had a gun. He said she had
She
a
Molly?
Molly,
Auntie
yeah,
Molly.
Auntie Molly. I said, "Oh, really? What was she doing with that?" He says, "She guess she was busy."
Yeah. But you know, it made you think about it. Way back then, still, they all were educated well. They had that big house, so they had money. Mom had all her sheep, and so she sold. That's how she came over here first class. And I was thinking, like she said, Morris was going to a private school. They
Yeah.
all did well. That's what's her name? Mary said she was over here riding. What happened to us? Because they all had money.
Mary
did well.
O'Dwyer
Mary
Well,
said,
ask Dave about his family. They all
And
had
said-
money.
Yeah, same thing.
What happened to us? He said we came over here and worked different.
Right.
Mom.
Well, that's why I'm wondering why the brothers came all here, because Mossy came
Get away from
and
the
Jim.
farm, or maybe.
So I don't know whether
Or what if it
it
was the Troubles or
yeah,
or
they
that's,
had to.
that's what I don't know, because they were definitely in
They'd
jail.
take anybody out. They didn't care if they were
And
guilty
then
or
if
not.
the farm went, no
They
one
locked
had
them
to
up
take
for
care of the
years and
farm.
years.
They had nothing
Yes,
coming
if
in.
you know, if the farm goes bad, that was where the money was. And if you weren't
Yeah.
there
Which also,
taking
I mean, you
care of
wonder,
it,
were
you didn't
they-
have any money?
You wonder with the uncles. I mean, did they just leave or were they?
Well, that's what
exiled,
I'm. That's
you know?
what I'm.
I mean, they
wondering,
would send
because-
guys to Australia at the drop of a hat.
Because
So
I
was
didn't
it?
realize that it was a civil war, and
Yeah.
I think that they were on De Valera's side,
Yeah.
and while the British were still in power, they put him in prison.
And
I
think
assume
the
that
thing,
was
Teresa, too, the IR picked up anybody they wanted, whether they were guilty or not, and they put them in the jail. Most of them were in there most
You mean
of
the
their
black and
lives.
tans?
The black and tans.
yeah,
Never.
right.
They
So
picked anyone up, and you had no choice. You just went to jail. That
Yeah.
was the end.
But you know, that's how it was really in any of those countries.
Yes.
If the officer came in, police, whatever he was,
Got it, Teresa.
that was it.
That was
They'd
it.
take
You're-
over and say,
you're- yeah.
dump you in jail,
You're done.
kill you right there.
When a-
So which uncles? Do you know which uncles were in prison? I mean, would you just,
I know Uncle Jim was,
Right.
and Uncle Mossy. I don't know about Uncle Patty.
Well, he maybe did.
He may
I don't
have
know,
been.
you know.
I think most of them were because
They just put them
And I
in.
think Uncle Tom, because he wasn't young when we were over there, so.
yeah, right. Tom
But
O'Connor.
he talked
Yeah.
about something, I don't remember
Now,
quite.
Nana was originally supposed to go to New Zealand.
right?
There was an Aunt Nora that had a big sheep farm, and Mom had all the sheep. She was very involved with sheep, and she sold them, all set to go to New Zealand. And Uncle Tom from Darien, great Uncle
That was
Tom,
her father's brother.
he wanted her to come here,
here.
and so in the
He
last minute,
sponsored her for some.
yeah,
Yeah.
she came this side.
Instead of going to New Zealand, she now is. Oh, I'm already on the cover of this. Was there any? Because he used to say something about that her mom
Didn't want
didn't
her.
want her to go to New Zealand because just the
She wanted to go to Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom. So did she not? I mean, but there was a relative there too, though in New Zealand. It wasn't like she was just going off
Aunt
with someone
Nora
they didn't
was her
know.
name. Aunt Nora on my father's side. It's hard because all the
Well,
kids
the
are
names
named
are all
after-
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
Find out the names all
They're
read.
dukes, but you don't
Mother
know who they
wanted her
were.
to go
Right.
to
Yeah.
America to Uncle Tom.
She wanted to go.
Dilly
Instead, she didn't want her to go because I knew you said she had a position waiting in New Zealand,
Yeah.
and she was ready
Yeah.
to
And
go
of course,
there.
the Uncle Tom was doing so good in
That's probably
There
why
he
she
is.
knew there was money.
Well, there's a statue
Yeah.
of him and all, isn't there, in Darien?
Big stone.
Right?
Yeah.
Big statue
Big
or a
stone.
plaque or something
Big
for him?
stone.
Yeah.
yeah, Captain Thomas.
Well, he was in first in New York
Well,
Fire
he was
Department.
a captain on the New York City Fire
Fire
Department.
Department.
Okay.
Then
So
he
was
retired.
And then he became a
came
state
to
senator or
Connecticut
something, or-
And
Yeah.
went into
Congressman, wasn't he?
politics in
He was a
Connecticut.
congressman.
And
Right.
wound up being a state senator.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a congressman.
Sure. Well, we keep saying we have to look that
There,
up.
yeah,
but
he did well. So did his
Right.
brother in
But,
New
He's
York.
our old
but
statue
Bob
of that.
O'Connor's father was also in the firehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah, he was a fireman as well.
But it was. I have to tell you a funny story about Uncle Tom. He went back to visit.
Careful.
Now I'm talking about great Uncle Tom. for him to be my godfather.
Jeez.
Anyway,
Oh my God.
he went over to Ireland to visit, and he went with Bob O'Connor's dad,
Father.
Tim.
Tim.
Right. And they go in, and it's at this house, the last one I showed you.
Right.
You know. And Mossy told me this story, Mossy O'Connor. And they come in, and they put their bags down. And so he says to Mossy, where's the bathroom? Well, first of all, Mossy didn't know what he meant, bathroom. Then finally they said the convenience. And Mossy goes like this. He says, what do you mean? He says, you go outside.
The outhouse.
He says, Tim, back to town. We're going to a hotel. He turned right around and got out of there. I thought that was so funny. He said, he wasn't going for that.
After New York City.
Yeah,
He
isn't that
didn't want
funny?
the outhouse.
I think he was like one of the longest guys that were retired from the New York. Can you imagine? He was retired at least 40 years
Yeah.
or more because he lived to be over 90.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When we first had our apartment on Valley Road, we got all our furniture for him. Remember the black man that came carried the refrigerator, had that wound top on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I can't remember that guy's name.
Little black
he
man.
worked for.
oh, he was so good.
He worked for him in that moving business.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
So we
And-
carried up this refrigerator.
He made
You know,
well. That moving business.
Yeah.
I think
But
the
then he
only
was into other
they
things.
bought us a kitchen table.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything. The only thing we had was the convertible couch. That was all. The
Well,
rest of it.
I was supposed to get some stuff, but Mama liked the chairs, so she got them first. They were outside, you know those green chairs that you...
Oh, no, that's fine.
Oh, I love those chairs.
Those chairs are
Shells.
great.
I love them.
Yes!
Did you know they're like back in vogue?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
in
we
stores
see them
again.
somewhere.
Yes, they are.
We were-
Those were great
I
chairs.
love those
Yeah,
chairs.
we were supposed to get those. And next thing I knew, I
They're under the dogwoods in the backyard.
yeah, I managed to sit in when we visited.
Yeah.
Tell them
They
about
lasted
the
a
Irish
long
dances
time.
in Mama's backyard. Remember when she built that platform?
Oh,
She built a
yeah.
platform.
Yeah,
No,
back
but
there she could dance.
Jimmy worked at Condé Nast.
Oh, he bought the home.
And these
Skids, they
huge
call them.
rolls of paper
Right.
came on these great big pallets. They
Right,
were,
right,
they're almost
right.
as big as this room
Right,
section
yeah.
here.
It was. Yeah.
And he got 4 of those. How the hell have you ever got them trucked over? I don't know.
Who knows?
But put them all together, and
Backyard.
that was the dance platform in the
I
backyard.
danced out there, fell in the tomato
That's
plants.
where the garage was finally closed.
Oh,
Great.
jeez.
And then we had all these New York relatives.
Where did they stay? Where did we stay?
On the
In one
floor.
bed.
4 in the
They
bed.
got the bed.
You know,
Two up, two
there was
down?
5 or 6 of them came up.
I know.
There
But
was only
they,
2 bedrooms in the
We're
house.
up in the attic.
There's no attic.
On the
I mean,
couch?
Elm
No, there
Street
were
was
There were
one
3
floor.
bedrooms.
3 bedrooms
Elm
upstairs.
Street was 1 floor.
This is Elm Street. This
I'm
is Meadow
talking-
Drive.
We're talking about Meadow Drive.
No, I'm talking about Elm Street.
Oh,
I don't remember
They
Elm
didn't come
Street.
that much. Well, yeah,
There
they
was a little
did.
Julia.
Yeah, Irene and them. But they
Yeah.
came for the day. They didn't stay overnight.
Now, Irene fit in where? Because in my head it goes
She was a
Molly and
friend.
Irene.
Friend of
I remember
Irene.
Molly and Irene.
She was a friend of Aunt Molly's.
Okay, because I remember them
No,
like a
she
little
was our cousin.
set of bookends.
Her mother, again, another Nora. There's Nora on both sides of the family. In other words, there was a Nora Walsh and a Nora O'Connor. And her mother, Irene's mother, was Nora.
Where's your brother?
And
There are 2 of them around. Sorry.
Here, I got something for you.
they're
I didn't think Irene was related, but
yeah.
was.
Didn't you ever? I always got a card.
No,
Your cousin
I always thought-
Irene.
No.
Always for years. Your cousin Irene.
Well, yeah, I remember
Somewhere
that. I
along-
thought
Well,
that
we
was
can use a
just
little
the
bit of soda, but we-
connotation,
No.
if you will. You
Gotta
know.
cut it again.
No, they.
Oh, there you go.
Joe and Lily, do you ever remember? She was quite elderly lady, and she had a cane because she came. The mother came to Meadow Drive.
I ran away when the company came.
Huh? Oh, you ran away.
I always ran away. I didn't want to be around with all that. I did. I ran away. That's why I don't know anything.
Oh, thanks, Mom. That's helpful.
I did.
But it's just funny you mentioned Irene, and in my head, from my very limited and brief perspective,
Ed.
was Molly and Irene.
Yeah, they were.
I remember them
I always thought she was just
together.
a friend.
Yeah.
No, she was.
And And she,
Hey, I had
she
Dave
won a
next
few
door.
bucks in the
Should I
Irish
stay home
sweepstakes.
with all the relatives?
No,
No,
she
that's
was a
enough.
I
cousin.
remember that.
No, thanks.
Yeah, we always got a card,
Oh,
cousin
that's good.
Irene.
Okay, I'll eat my-
But that was a
Yeah,
Yeah, but I
relationship.
didn't think that.
No, thank you. And
You
she
know.
had a brother,
Piggy
Mickey.
Pabo and I used to call one
My
another
papa?
cuz.
Right, yeah, that's
That's
true.
Conlon. Was it Conlon?
Yeah.
Huh?
Who's a
Conlon,
common?
Mickey Conlon?
Now, what was their name? You remember Joe, Irene's husband?
The guy, he was the dude.
Conlon,
He
was it?
stayed
Boy,
with
he
them.
was
He
Was
was
he
in
Conway or Conlon?
Conway.
Conway.
Joe Conway. He
Conway?
then her name was
Conway.
Irene
They
Conway.
won the lotto, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Irish
Yeah.
sweepstakes.
they had to go
And
back
he-
to
he
Ireland to
wore,
collect it.
He used to wear those white or cream colored flannels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy.
He was a nice-
Very nice.
So listen, when you had this dance platform in the backyard, what did the neighbors say?
They never
Nothing.
did.
Nothing.
Neighbors said nothing back
Nothing.
then.
No.
You being the neighbor.
No.
Had Mr. Baker in the rear,
Right?
and Miss Danita's on this
this
side.
side.
Right?
The old garage sheltered it from the other side.
Well, we wouldn't be late either.
No.
No.
No, it was early evening.
So,
Neighbors
listen,
didn't complain like
They
that, you
didn't.
know.
They didn't.
nobody knows,
Except Louis Smith.
Well,
Well,
He was
he
further
wasn't
down the
a
road.
neighbor.
He was further down the road.
you all talk about, a couple times it's come up, Aunt Eileen, Ellen rather, has come up a couple times, right? Ellen, was that your dad's sister?
Yes.
But nobody ever, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anything about your father's background is
know.
like,
We don't know.
not that
Do you even
much.
know where his
I mean,
people are
he,
from or
He
anything?
worked hard.
Just
He
those-
had
that's those,
he did
yeah,
garbage
Ellen
business.
O'Connor,
He
that
did
was
ashes.
it.
Yeah.
He had this big business going. Went all around everyone's place. He came to Mrs. O'Connor's all the time. Then we went to his sister, Aunt Ellen. She always has for Thanksgiving. We went up to
Bedford.
Bedford.
That was another Nora.
Yeah, that's another sister of his. We went to see there. And our cousin, give me her again, the movie star.
Oh. Kate, is it Catherine?
No. Ann Blight.
Oh, Anne Blythe.
oh,
And Blythe.
Yeah.
wait, how does that fit
I
in?
don't
Movie
remember
star.
that. I don't know
Yeah,
that
she's
thing.
on
I don't
the
remember
east
that.
side.
Yeah. Well, you weren't with us, I guess, when we
No,
were in
but I
a
don't
family.
remember any talk about it.
Oh yeah, we always did because when she had her movies, they said that's our cousin.
Yeah.
So we would all say that.
I know they went,
She was a
but I
nice
didn't
looking
go.
woman,
I
though.
skipped
Girl.
everything.
Yeah, well, this is how I'm so deprived.
Well, I
Thank
had two
you.
boyfriends next door. Why should I stay home with relations? I was
We had
smart.
they would come up with groups. There was Greta, and Greta was a Dillon,
Yeah.
you know, and her brother was the one that was so
He was
handsome.
handsome.
Yeah.
Dick Dillon.
Listen to you guys. Oh,
That must have been the
God.
beginning of when there was gays.
And that was another Morris.
Huh?
No.
And another Morris.
No.
Greta's husband.
No, yes, yes,
Oh,
Morris
okay.
Scholar,
Yeah.
Talk about
yes.
the brother.
Yeah, but Dick Dillon was Greta Morris's wife's brother, but there was Morris.
Julie
Yeah.
talked about
Morris
his wife.
Schuyler. I'm talking about. I was talking
About his wife?
I got Jackie laughing because I was talking about. I said, Jackie, do you remember? Or am I making this up? Tell me something. Do you remember? Only said I said it
Was
wrong,
she
but
Amy?
Costello
Yeah.
in New York, and Auntie Molly had a big pot of ham and cabbage and everything, and this guy's eating all the fat off of it. I looked at it. I was going, ooh. Jack said, yeah, he loved it. You didn't make that up. I said,
No, but,
okay.
then the ham, when it was the fat was on it, it was tasty. You didn't have a lot of it, but the ham went. The fat went with the ham.
Well, he wanted that
Not
instead
today.
of the meat.
He just wanted the
Oh,
fat.
But
well, his
this
body
guy,
lacked something.
this guy Dick Dillon, who was absolutely, he looked like Dick Powell. I
did.
thought.
Like a movie star.
He always had white
But didn't he have to
flannels.
do something with
That's
it?
what I just said
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
No,
He
that-
did.
We're talking about condoms.
But his
Odds
wife was
I thought he had white flannels.
very strange.
Well, see, she
You
was
should
the
bring
one. That's
Julia.
why I figured
I can
because
She
tell.
she
had a
was.
voice like a man.
Yeah, she was very like
Aunt Jo's,
masculine. But
Aunt
she
Jo's
was a
got
woman.
theories here.
So I figured he was.
Well, didn't Julia say she had parts?
That's what I said.
That day should have got your information. She knew a lot.
You shouldn't be taking this out.
Yeah, she
Well,
was.
that's you couldn't trust Julia.
No, why?
You couldn't.
What she embellished to
You
it.
couldn't because she loved to be the center of the
And she
conversation.
would embellish the stories that, you know,
Stuff like
But
that.
the woman did talk like a man.
and wasn't attractive at all compared to how handsome
Well,
he
you
was.
know, we did stay with our cousins for a while because we had cousin Ellen. We were great with her
Right.
and her children. But then, like everything else, When they moved away
When
up
she
north,
died- when
that
she
was far
died-
away from
Well,
us.
when she died, it was the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
was it.
then little
That's a
Ellen
long
went out
while
to
ago.
Hawaii with her husband when he was in the Navy. So
Right.
So there was
You
Ellen
lost
and
track
Nora.
of them.
Were the Ellen and Nora were the two sisters that you
But
know here?
there's one that's still in Old Greenwich.
Yeah, Frances.
That's in France. I couldn't remember.
That was the daughter. The daughter?
No.
Frances Dalrymple.
But she
Your
married.
uncle's daughter, cousin Ellen's husband.
Yeah.
Daughter.
Now she looked like Ellen.
Yeah.
Frances looked
Yeah.
like Ellen,
Yeah.
and
Ellen
Ellen
looked
looked
like
like
her
Bill. Yeah, that was strange. But we had all these people would come up from New York and party. They'd come up for
Oh, it was
weekends.
always a party.
Yeah,
Freeland.
always.
Constant.
Uncle Jack. How about Tim Sullivan? I loved Tim Sullivan.
Yeah, I like
Yes.
him. I
He was the
remember.
nicest
Nice
guy.
But there's only two that were good to us kids. That was Greta and Morris. The rest came up, they shoved us out of the way, and their kids all got fed and everything else. But
Well,
Greta
you're
and
more
Morris,
talking about Molly than anyone else.
I don't care. Greta and Morris were the only two that ever paid attention to us, bought us things, and acknowledged us. That's the word. They acknowledged us. The rest of them,
Came
Yeah.
for a good time. Came out of the
they
city.
could care less what we were doing unless we waited on them.
There was one guy
That's
came.
why you
I
met
don't know
one.
who he was. He wasn't a relative, but he came up with somebody one time, and we're in the backyard. I remember this very clearly. And we're in the backyard, and he's talking to Mom, and he's talking to me. And I said to Mom, "Is he looking at me or is he looking at you?" Because he was very cross-eyed. And Mom said, "Oh no!" She said, "Girl." I'm surprised I didn't get the back of her hand.
Oh, she was good with that.
Oh, quick, too.
Fast, too. You didn't have time to-
I
Good time to
know her.
duck.
And Nora, our sister Nora, was
Pinched.
She did with an ear that you would
She'd
A week
pinch you
later-
Nora
everywhere.
would pinch you?
I'll pinch you.
pinch her, right?
I mean, she'd twist it.
Twist it, stop you in your tracks.
How come we weren't mean that way?
Well, we weren't.
And my lovely sister Julia, who I adore,
Smacked
she
you.
beat Josie. You know those old
Rolling pins.
towels,
Towels around,
paper
roller
towels,
towels.
Yeah.
but they were made of wood.
Yeah.
And we'd be all lined up,
She'd give it to
and
us.
she's whacking her. Don't do
get
it! Don't do it! Don't do
Yeah.
it! I end up crying.
So why she didn't kill us?
And you know what?
How
I don't
many
know.
brains
And you
at
were
all?
the good one. I don't know what you did.
Yeah, I thought you
She
were the
did to
quiet
me one
one.
day because I wouldn't play with someone because she liked the girl's
Brother.
brother.
Right.
And she wanted me to play with the girl so
Margie
the brother
Meyer.
would come over.
No,
Yeah.
you were. Yeah.
And she smacked the bejesus out of me. And you never said anything to Mother because you'd be back with her the next day.
As thick as this. It was a thick bar.
Oh,
Yeah, it was round like that. It was like a club.
The truth comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, she was the one
Look
that
how charming
brought us
and nice
up,
we
really,
are.
you know. She was there to
Well, it's a good thing
clobber
for
us.
me you didn't have
Then-
any crushes.
yes. Then she'd make it up by getting custard pie and bananas.
That's why
All
we're
she
so
ever
healthy
bought.
today. We had custard pie, donuts, and bananas.
That's all she
That's
ever
what she
bought.
bought us all the
Nora
time.
would come home and cook you a whole dinner. She would give you the whole thing. Nora
Right.
would. She
Right.
came in. She was really so good. She,
That's true. You know, I think we
they
had
were
the
16
banana.
years old. Nora was out
We
working.
had
and
the
the family
custard.
had one day off a week.
And we had the donuts.
She worked there and stayed there. You know.
Yeah.
So
We
say,
didn't
talk about
starve
tough lives. About
completely.
these guys today, these people that come over here and demand
No,
everything.
shush.
I'm
Shush, we're
sorry.
having a pleasant conversation. Stop it
I
now.
still love
Stop it now.
We all had to work
You go
very hard.
ch-ch-ch-ch-ch.
We all had to work
Tay, tay,
very
tay, tay, tay.
hard. I can't finish that sentence.
Tay.
We worked very hard. We did. And that's what I said.
And you need to tell that to some of these people that are fighting to stay
No,
here and bring all that shit.
Tay, we're not going
We're
there.
not
That's
into
no
it. Not
politics.
into
No
We
it.
are not going there.
Okay, well, I thought it was supposed to be held till May the 1st. The guy told O'Reilly, but they're all over the place now.
Who?
Spanish.
What's that got to do with Ireland?
Tay, that's it.
I'm just
You're doing
saying,
Ireland.
Lou was saying about how hard we worked.
Yeah.
I'm saying the same. You worked.
And then you raised a whole bunch of lazy, spoiled, ungrateful children. Look at us. We are lazy,
Oh, I don't know. I think you did all
Lazy,
right.
You got your
Lazy.
comeuppance, didn't you?
lazy,
The line
lazy,
You
you
don't
guys
see
up.
anything wrong with any of our kids. I think all our kids came out good.
lazy,
And
lazy.
there too.
Two.
So they're 2 and 3.
Mama said that Dawn and Nisi, those two girls painted that whole house. She said. Can you believe
Mom
it?
always told Dawn, Dawn lives to this day. She said to Dawn, "You're most like me." Dawn that made Dawn's whole life. Dawn was very insecure and she was whatever. And when Mama told her that, Dawn was like, she was somebody new. Yeah, she said, Dawn, you're most like
He
me.
picked up a bigger paintbrush.
Well, you figure
But
they
Denise
really
and
cleaned
Dawn
that
were
place amount of
Were
Point
horses.
Pleasant.
They
Right.
were.
That field, or
Yeah,
field.
Donna was in Europe,
Beach, busy. It was a beach.
Not a field, it was
side of the
what do
yard,
I want to call it? Waterway.
where the boat was hidden.
Where the
Oh,
boat was.
It
geez.
was grapevine. It was all grapevine.
Yes.
Wild
Right.
grapes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Beach
next door, the
land
old men
was-
would come over the fence to watch the
Watch
man
the
working.
Man.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
We're not here to talk about how fabulous my sisters are. Now stop.
Oh, Dinah, you were lovely.
That's just enough.
All
He's getting your
right.
face.
You weren't there all the
This is
time
the-
to do it.
I was
It wasn't
gallivanting.
your thing.
I was gallivanting in Europe. Thank you very much.
It wasn't your thing.
She was with the minister.
Yes. Holy one.
I was off with the Protestants, getting in trouble.
Well, let's see. Whatever else.
But so we really know. I mean, I just was curious about the O'Keeffes. I mean, just very
So
little.
are we.
No, very little. Yeah,
We
very
don't
little
know.
about the O'Keeffes.
I don't know
Yeah,
anything.
very.
Are they from Cork anyway?
I don't even know where, well, I don't know where
I
it came
moved
from.
to-
Well, I mean, Mrs. Murphy's
Growing
O'Keeffes
up.
are all from Cork.
I don't know.
So I wonder if. I told you she has John O'Keefe was the dancing school in Connecticut, which cracks me up. She was Mary O'Keefe until she became Mary
Find
Murphy.
out where she's from. And
Well, I mean, she's
Where-
told me the town, but I haven't.
because
You know.
unfortunately, a lot of stuff
No
I
documentation.
yeah, we
Yeah.
wish that we had asked, but we were
were
brought up.
told.
You don't
Don't
ask.
ask. You don't
Mind
ask.
your
I know.
own
So we know nothing about where
Yeah,
he
we
came
know
from.
nothing.
One time Mama did talk to Dawn, and what was the boyfriend she had at the time?
Doug.
Doug Sean. Sean.
Shown, yeah.
I remember in Point Pleasant sitting out on the back porch, the two of them, and we should ask Dawn. What did she tell her?
Yeah, but didn't she say to you last week, "Hey, I need to know some of the stuff"?
Well,
Have you sent her that story?
Well, they,
No, she didn't say that to me. She said she cried. Diane cried.
Well, she
didn't
should
say-
have.
As I was telling everybody,
It's a sad
have
story.
tissues to hand.
Relatives, Pat and his nephew was in England, started checking the fawnets. This is
Oh,
all the
gee.
fawnets.
I saw the name Fawnin on a fesh list the other day. One of the girls dancing.
Right.
It was named Fawn, and I don't
they're
see 'em
going to have
often.
their big fest up in Mount Kisco. No, not Mount Kisco.
Fawn
in
Fest.
New York. The 7th.
Do you know there's
Oh.
a flight that goes from West
We're
Palm to
trying to think of
Westchester
the
now?
place.
Yeah, just new.
They had it in Ireland in October.
Did they?
And so Gregory.
Oh, these are professionals, you mean? Coming in.
No, it's them putting their family.
A
My
family
cousin
gathering.
Gregory
Oh,
said, I hope I see you there. No, these are all cousins
Fawnin
to
Festival.
Patrick. And the cousin, now, this was another thing.
Well, you know the way I look at it with the group
This
we had.
blessing,
it's big
they
enough.
said it's a blessing, but they said it was bad. And I said, how could they say bad? Someone told me that.
What?
The top there. For St. Patrick's Day.
What? Just the word you mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know. TC said, Bonnie said TC looked it up in her dictionary. I couldn't find it. It had to be in some.
I don't
I
know
looked in the
how to pronounce
Webster. She said, what'd she say it was? It wasn't a nice holy blessing or something.
Well, it's more like just a
Yeah.
common thing.
what
I can
is-
never pronounce. I
What's
can
the
never.
one
I
I
can never pronounce. It's Gaelic. I
I
can't.
know, but
pronounce
the one didn't I write that in your card? Didn't I write
Yeah, I
it
think
in,
you did
in
write that.
Gaelic?
Yeah, but I can't. God, I can't pronounce it
Yes,
Gaelic.
even, what's his name,
Look
called
like-
about his timing.
You know, I can't do that.
All I know is G.S. Merowitch.
Dick Bonham?
No,
What?
the other guy.
G.S. Merowitch.
Elmo?
oh,
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Down
We
here
were
she
talking about
put
something.
Colin Mary
Oh, he said,
Pug Mahone.
yeah, but he doesn't know how to say it.
No, I
He
can
goes,
say
Papa
Pug Mahone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
I
what
can
he
say
said.
that.
that's the
And I
only.
thought,
He said that he tried to talk Irish.
yeah,
He
he doesn't know what
Pug
he's saying.
Mahone.
Who said that? This guy that golfs with Dave, he called up on the phone and was talking.
Oh,
Lynn Abramson told me that she lived in a 3 or 4 story house, and the man that was the whatever he was
Landlord.
custodian was Irish, and that's where she learned Pug Mahone.
oh.
She said he was
Slips
saying
out.
it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
She didn't know what it meant all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
she
Oh,
did.
she knew.
Yeah, she knew what it meant.
We all find out what it means.
Yeah.
Man.
When we were up in Round Hill, there was a blacksmith that
Hello.
would come and do the horses. And he was just like a little leprechaun. And George and I,
Down the
if we
road.
could, we'd come down. Because he did a little diddy-dee-dee and did jokes and did talk. He was the most fascinating man. And he lived in Greenwich. I forget what his name was, but it was a real You know, the kind like Barry Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
And had that same kind of humor.
Yeah?
And he was fantastic. We would stand there and listen to him. Half the time I didn't know all he was saying, but
like Auntie Molly, I could never understand her. Then she'd give you such a clout because I don't know what she was saying. You know,
Oh,
that's why I hated going to New York City. She loved it. Went all the time. I
well,
said,
Auntie
"Mom, I'm
Molly
not
loved Josie.
going." Yeah, 'cause she never
That
say a
was-
word. She shut
That
up.
was her girl.
I would talk. Auntie Molly would go, "Hongo."
But they came up
I didn't go
when-
back anymore.
You know, Auntie Molly always liked to take stuff. Oh, this is something I wanted to tell you about Mama. Nana was, and I guess it's typical Irish because a couple of people I've spoken to said the same thing. But whenever you went to the house, you never left without a bag. Now, you never knew what was in the bag, and the first thing she'd say is, "Don't tell anybody."
Oh, God.
No, she did this to all of
All
us,
of
so
us.
we all knew that.
Yeah.
You know? But one time, George said, "What's in the bag?" And I said, "Well, you wouldn't believe it." He says, "Well, try me. A corset, an orange, a vase, I don't know what, all these stuff." Oh my God. So this other girl that lived around the corner, her name was O'Donnell. This is when we were in Bethel. And Evelyn says, "I see you got the bag." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You did too?" And she said, "Yeah." It's so funny. You never. And then she'd always
brought
say,
something.
"Oh, I don't have anything for you." And she'd go and scurry up something.
Somewhere it'll be in the back.
Yeah,
But
you
Mom
never
always
know.
brought something.
Mystery bag. But there was always something you could
But it was
use.
great though when she worked on the big houses and they had all the Italian gardeners and they gave her tons of fresh fruit.
Yeah, right.
She brought that to the house. That
Yeah.
was wonderful.
Always eating like crazy.
Now, see, I remember
Along with the
on
parsnips.
Meadow Drive, though.
She was a
Oh, I
fabulous
hated
woman.
them.
I hate
Oh,
parsnips.
me too. I hate
That's
it.
why-
Dave
that's
doesn't
why-
like it.
I like
Nora
parsnips.
loved them.
I like parsnips.
We had them every single day.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, not quite.
Yes,
A
when
lot.
she got them going, that's when we got them.
Well, see, when I was a
Same
kid-
thing, we were
Oh,
down
that's
in,
when they harvested them.
we were down in
you know,
Arch
yeah.
Streets
in
in
the
the
fall,
day
like
nursery,
potatoes.
and people would bring things. Somebody brought dates. They gave us dates every
Oh, you
single
said
day.
that you hate
I
dates.
hate dates.
Can't eat dates,
Because
guys.
every day, and you have to eat them.
I like dates the way Nora used to fix them.
Oh,
put-
like candy. She put
Yeah.
little nut walnut on the top.
Yeah,
and all that
oh
stuff.
man, they'd melt in your mouth.
That's because I made you eat them? That's very funny.
They were really
Anything, right? You gotta...
It was a daycare thing. They put a plate in front of you. You had to eat the whole plate.
God, didn't you all spend the whole day running to the bathroom?
You know. I mean, there wasn't a whole plate of dates, but
You're
whatever's
just
on the
saying.
thing, you had to eat everything. Holy cow. No wonder I say I don't want something now, because I don't care. I don't want it. I don't want it.
She was one of those
there.
kids, huh?
Right.
Now I
She
said.
wasn't starving enough.
I said now I do it. I didn't say then. Then I had to shut up like everybody else. But I really didn't.
Troublemaker.
I was.
I didn't
I
like
wasn't a
salmon.
troublemaker. I just
And
thought
Mary
right was
would make
right,
me eat
and that
it
was
out of the
my
can.
problem.
Oh, the canned salmon.
Oh.
I never ate that either.
She'd be
That was
forced. I
cheaper
don't want to
than the
eat
cheapest stuff.
it in your mouth.
Same thing with buttermilk.
Oh yeah. Mama loved buttermilk.
Yeah, I drank it too.
Yeah, you
Not
can't drink
me.
buttermilk. It's gross.
She drank it like this.
She
And then
drank it
she
like
made
milk.
us drink it.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I, that's just like,
She did always do that.
oh yeah.
Always had butter, a whole big glass full.
Well, I think in Europe, a lot of the people on farms,
That's what they
They're
grew up
used to it.
with.
Yeah, they're
Talk about a
both-
constitution. Well, you all would laugh because mommy's last time doing this with Evan in the morning. I've taken and given him right. What do I give him in the morning now?
castor oil.
I give him cod liver oil.
Cod liver
A teaspoon of cod liver oil in the morning time, and mom's laughing at that. So what's
What
not?
do you give with it to cover it?
Not, no, they flavor it.
They
It comes
flavor it.
flavored now. And so it's this berry flavor, and he sucks it right down. And he,
Right.
he
Doesn't
drink-
bother him repeat?
No, we
They
said
used to
used
do it with
Scott's
orange.
emulsion.
Yeah.
he has a little
Yeah.
teaspoon in the morning, but mom's laughing at me because Evan, come here, here's your cod liver oil. You know,
Brain food. I said, I need
he
some
calls
of
it. He
that.
calls it his brain medicine. It's my brain
I
medicine.
said,
take
give
a
me
capsule.
some. Give me some.
But it repeats later
So
on.
how many of you here had kerosene as a medicinal treatment?
Orange juice.
As what?
Kerosene as a medicinal treatment?
Me.
It
I
doesn't
did.
make
Yeah.
you
And I
gag.
can still
No.
taste it. I had
She
whooping
gave you kerosene?
Yeah.
with a big thing of
With sugar.
You should heard.
Oh, well,
3
think
drops
about
on a
You should
spoon
heard
of
Peter
sugar.
Arturi when I told him that. What are you talking about? We had very bad colds. She had the
That
kerosene
was-
thing, and
that
he
was
had
a big thing. I had
the
that at
kerosene
home,
stove
too.
in the kitchen. She'd go in and give you a teaspoon with a spoon of
With
sugar.
sugar on it. It was
She
a
and
whole
Nora,
teaspoon.
she and Nora got me with that stuff. And boy,
I think we all got it.
It cured the cough.
you did.
Hey, we should try
Maybe
some of that.
that's
For
right.
Jim, Mommy, that's what you need now.
I mean, it's what happened to me.
Maybe that's the problem.
But
Cured your
Peter,
cough,
I tell
you had no
what,
lungs
That's when I
left.
told him that. What are you talking about? Hey,
That's the
Well, you
It
know,
wasn't
just
all
a
those
really
flu. I
liquid
remember
when
having
it was.
just a few drops in it.
Well, it felt like
said to Pete, we
I mean,
never went to the
that
doctor.
in my house.
No, kids, you never went to the doctor.
Well, the only time I did was Dr. Costanzo after I had scarlet fever.
Yeah, well, that was
And he used to come and I'd hide under the bed in Elm Street.
You remember
You
all the new
guys,
toys you got and they had to throw them out and we were so upset? They had to burn them.
Yeah.
All these new toys and they had to burn them.
It's
yeah.
like
You
the
guys,
Team Rabbit, right?
you guys were down in the yard and I'm out on the roof
Yeah.
in the sun, and I'm waving hello where everybody's
I
crying.
had
to
my
stay away.
tonsils out in the kitchen.
I had mine in New York.
No, then Teddy, Julia, Nora, and you. I had your tonsils out in the kitchen.
That
Dr.
I don't
Santa.
know.
I didn't have any tonsils, he said, so I escaped.
You didn't have any tonsils.
I didn't have any tonsils.
Interesting.
I went and all of a sudden Auntie Molly had another child, so I was it. I got him done at a hospital in New York. They did some finagling.
Who was Dr. Tusak?
Oh
Well,
yeah,
I was the eye doctor.
right.
Yeah. And when Diane was, 3 years old, and she's having a lot of trouble with her eyes. They were all scum and things.
Well,
and
her
stuff.
eyelashes go.
And we went to the
instead
guy
out.
in Greenwich, and he was going to operate on her, and what have you. And Mama said, no, we're taking her down to Dr. Tusak in New York City. We took him down, and all they did was cut her lashes off.
Because
that was irritating the eye.
They just constantly irritated her
Yeah,
eyes.
so he just cut her lashes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, she
wouldn't
swore
want
by
to
it.
try something like that yourself.
Mama was right. I wouldn't know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't touch any kid's eyes, not me.
No.
How about home remedies?
Yeah.
I had a big pimple or something, like a wart. Mama says, you got to get a piece of, from a horse's tail.
Oh,
Tie it off.
Tie it
You
off.
Tie it off.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember the stuff she used to get from around poultice? It was something from the
The seaweed.
seaweed, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
What was that for?
The
For if
seaweed.
you had any kind of pus or thing kind of thing.
Yeah,
like that.
To draw it
they should
out.
make a poultice.
Draw it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, right.
I mean, the Indians did it. And now they're coming back, hey, where'd they get penicillin from? You know,
Yeah, mold,
so they weren't too dumb.
you know?
That's why all those old tricks were handy and saved people.
Yeah.
They should use more than that. Instead of half of the junk they use.
Let's
Right.
see if we can play some music so Teresa could dance with Katie.
Oh, put the CD down here. Just said stuff I have in the back anyway. This fella talking with his dad. Just accordion. Just accordion. It's cute though. But
Oh, I just thought Teresa would like to do
I
that.
wanted to, did your mom say that I think you should submit that to Reader's Digest?
you know the funny thing about that, and
You know who else? Angela.
Oh,
She's
Angela's
hell bent.
I didn't. It's not finished. I didn't finish editing it. I just needed to send it, or I was going to lose my nerve, so I had to mail it to you.
It's only the first chapter.
It's only the first draft of that. No, my girlfriends in my writing group, they're all reading this. So, well, what happens? What happens? I said, well, you don't want to know what happens. And they said, well, you're going to go on later. Are you going to tell more from this perspective? And I said, well, I can't. There is no more from this, from this point of view.
Right.
I said, there isn't more from Mossy's point
Angela.
of view, but
It's the same way.
we just do it all vignettes because it's too hard to take all these things. Because Mommy wants me to write this sweeping
Avenue.
and Bradford novel of the generations.
Well,
and
did you
things.
want to put on the end of this that he did pass away?
Well, I didn't. I mean, I was going to figure out where I was going to go
I'd
from
leave it
there. It's
the way
kind of
it
as
is.
far as it got, and I didn't.
It's kind of cute the way it is.
But
I
he
agree
just, so you and I were talking about on the phone, the whole thing behind that, and the we call it an assignment. We do these groups, and you have a prompt. It's pick something, that's something, and write, And I said the whole point. I mean, other than having the really fun time creating a character out of your father, which was fun for me, just based on the little bit I'd heard of kind of
Well,
how
I
he
think
was,
you got him down to a T.
absolutely.
which was fun. But the
For
thing
you,
was.
because you never knew him.
No, but I always in
As I
my
said,
mind,
I don't remember one thing about him.
only thing in my mind, because I heard so much about him,
Except my name.
that he
somebody
was
told me.
a fun person, that he loved to sing and dance.
Mama was very strict.
Yes.
Well, that's what's such a fun.
She was a teetotaler.
Counterbalance,
Well,
Yet there was always enough in the house for anybody who came in the door.
oh yeah, always. That was the first thing you did when.
Not her family.
No,
Spring
no.
Remember Julie was smoking?
Company.
She had to hide the smoke, the cigarette.
Didn't do that well.
And Mary Burke.
Yeah, the time
Oh, 'cause they knew
found
Mama
Mary and Berkham and Julia smoking in my house. She blew a gasket because the kids were in bed
Yeah.
on the couch. Some reason they were on the couch and Mary, I guess Mary stayed. I forgot what the story was.
Don't tell
Mom
Jerry.
came in, they
Don't
were
tell
smoking.
Don't tell Jerry.
Oh, what was it?
She got caught.
Yeah.
Oh, Julia was the devil.
Yeah, she,
Oh well.
Well,
When she got with Mary Burke.
They're
and
still
Aunt
not
Julia.
bad stories when you think about it.
Oh,
Some
it's
people have vicious stories.
Oh no, they were fun. I mean, they were.
well, I always laugh. I mean, just as a, you know, when I was 21 or whatever, you know, being someplace with Nana and having, you know, the big daddy would put into Aunt Julie's house, you know, down in Boynton when she had the house, and we'd come down to visit Christmas or whatever, and, you know, and I'd have a big opaque glass.
Like the
You know,
frosted.
so I'd have no, not even a frost, not even a beer mug, but just, you know, a cup,
Yeah.
a tumbler, to have my beer inside of, because I couldn't drink beer in front of Nana, so I'd have this big, you know, plastic cup that had my beer inside of it.
But see how everybody honored her though. 'Cause
She
the kids-
what?
How everybody honored her for that reason.
yeah.
Today the kid would tell them, "Go to hell," you know.
yeah.
And then they'd get the backhand, and that'd be that.
Well, when I went to Ireland, I said, well, that's it, because I was smoking and I couldn't smoke there when I was there. I said, oh my God, she'd kill me.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
So unfortunately, I went back to it when I got back. But then, but
It was like when Timmy started to. This was Mama. She was saying, and Dave, who was comparable same age, come in. She'd give him a drink.
yeah,
She'd kill Timmy. Though.
yeah.